question is, have we big plans for the relatively near future? And the answer is yes. We have restored our designation as developers of Parcel 3 in Roxbury, which is a nearly 9-acre site just across from the police headquarters on Tremont Street, where we hope to carry forward a $400 million project that will build a little more than 1,200,000 square feet of new space, slightly more than 80% of it commercial and income producing. Our cultural and educational work will occupy the remainder of the space and will be endowed from our share of profits from the development of this parcel. This is indeed a big idea because it is an adventure in development which is quite different than the kind of history of production in the arts and presentations in the arts which have been our identifier.
As a visual artist, an art educator, I think it's amazing that it's being brought out. Ruggles is so much more accessible than Walnut Street is. Like, part of the reason why I don't know much about it is because it's so personally out of the way, that unless you're from that area, you know those neighborhoods, you probably wouldn't know that those places are there. So bringing it out so it's more accessible to the entire Boston community, I think, as opposed to just that immediate community in Walnut, I think it's amazing. I think I'm all for the arts, and if it's art for people that look like us, I'm even more for it. So
there is a need in any cultural environment for institutional supports. The scene for black artists, for artists of the African diaspora in Boston over the last few decades has not been barren. There are interesting artists at work, there are works being produced, but I don't think that there is an institutional center to that. There is not a great umbrella. There's not an oak which allows everything else to flourish by providing it some support and shade. And that role of constantly making space, of connecting what's being done locally to what's happening nationally and internationally, that sense of bringing things as well as sending things, that is work that is institutional. If you have no institutional structure which has a long-term plan for how to sustain these aspects of cultural presence, you will never be able to generate the strength of presence that really makes you part of the whole cultural environment of the city.